knows, the medical field is changing constantly, discovering new mutations and diseases and such, some of them rare, some of them quite common. A very rare mutation is the PKU mutation. It is usually rare because it only happens in 1 out of 10,000 to 15,000 kids in the US alone. It isn't usually harmful when it is treated at birth, which is the recommendation, considering it can happen really fast due to the increase in phenylalanine levels. The PKU mutation happens usually in the liver that affects the breaking down of protein, which increases the phenylalanine levels because it can't be turned into tyrosine. And if it can't be turned into tyrosine, the phenylalanine turns into a neurotoxin of sorts, affecting the brain and the central nervous system, which then in turn happens to cause seizures, delayed development in the brain, and other growth of the human body. The mutation is, as I said, hereditary, so it requires 2 alleles. A lot of people will have become carriers at birth and not have the PKU effects of the seizures or can't break down protein properly. And the person who found the person who figured this out in the 1960s is Dr. Falling, who is a Norwegian doctor. This happened when a mother brought in her 2 children, her firstborn, who was perfectly healthy, and her secondborn, who had been born mentally retarded, where he couldn't extend his arms and he couldn't think properly or speak properly to begin with. He took multiple urine samples and samples of the blood and figured out the high levels of phenylalanine that had been abnormal for a human to urinate. And during the multiple tests, he found a way to discover or diagnose this issue before any of the real problems could emerge, which is usually why babies get tested by blood drawn by the heel when they're born. And usually to tell the difference from a PKU affected child and a normal child would be the lightness, the increased lightness or lack of pigmentation in the skin, hair, or eyes, or as I said, the delayed development. But this can also be fixed because they can have a formula that has all the protein a human would need with the exclusion of the phenylalanine, which will allow the child to develop properly, like they never had the problem to begin with. And the credibility that I had for this is because my sister and I both are diagnosed with PKU. And we go to our pediatrician annually to do checkups to make sure we have been growing as properly as a normal human being. And they also give us pamphlets and explain a lot of our problems and diseases. And that is all that I have left to tell, and thank you for your day.